Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Smoking Pirelli's Racing Club here tonight. Hello ARP, you're always the first person here. How you doing? Good to see you in here. Everyone, welcome back to Smoking Pirelli's. It's been a while since we've joined, did a commentary here at Smoking Pirelli's, but we are back at it once again. But here tonight, we are starting with a short qualifying session with a 50% race. Sorry for being late, everyone. Well, in respectable terms, we'll say that I had a very annoying talk with the provider, and we were able to get everything sorted. Just came back on, and we are back. But as it stands now, Jonesy was the first person to set a qualifying pace here around Japan. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to get everything loaded up on my computer since we had a huge fallback with the provider. But so far, let's actually get a quick rundown of the Japanese Grand Prix, as Zach Johnson has just gotten the fastest lap, 129.657. If I do remember correctly, previous season's runner-up, as we have yellow flags in sector 1, 2, and 3 with Tomark entering the pit lane. We also had VDV Ole getting second fastest so far, 129.672 for the McLaren driver. And actually yesterday, in a different league, actually won his race at Abu Dhabi. So a very good result for VDV Ole. And actually, we're going to go on board with Natalie right now, where looks like Natalie has actually got a little bit of a promotion. If I do remember correctly, was in the Aston Martin before, or the McLaren. Well, if it was the Aston Martin, it would be an improvement. If she was in the McLaren before, it would be a major downset. But right now, it's currently a downset, as she has lost her front wing. So not a good sign for her whatsoever. But there's still plenty of time in qualifying. 10 odd minutes left here for Smoking Pirelli's qualifying session. But let's get a quick brief rundown of the Japanese Grand Prix. We are here at the Suzuka International Racing Course, where the first ever Grand Prix here was back in 1987. So not too old, not too young. It's like that middle time of a course. You'll have those older ones like Monaco and courses that have been on the calendar for the longest time, and then you have newcomers like I believe Portimao is one of them. Of course, you got the one that debuted last season, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix at Jeddah, and looks like Suzuka International Racing Course is kind of like in the middle with the 1987. But we are here for around 27 laps, if I do remember correctly. It's either 27 or 26. But the circuit length, we are looking at a circuit length of 5.807 kilometers long, so a pretty long distance course compared to tracks like Bahrain, which is between 4 and 4.5 kilometers long, and that's kind of the standard, like around 4.5, maybe just under 5 kilometers long. But as well, with a race distance of around 158 kilometers, where the current lap record was set by Lewis Hamilton in 2019 with a 130.983. So Zach Johnson already having that fastest lap with a 129.657, so beating the current we'll say the current road record, but it's the race lap record. So we're gonna see if these drivers can match up to that. Looks like we're having Ice One come around the final corner. What time is he going to set? He's going to go 7th fastest, Ice One, with a 130.909 for the AlphaTauri driver. But as it stands now, let's actually get a quick look at the drivers' standings for Tuesday, where leading the way in the drivers' championship is going to be Skills Dan, who is currently It looks like he had a bit of an incident. I'm not too sure if he had an incident or if he if he retired into the pit lane. But Skills then leading the way in the Williams with 290 points. Then we have Panda in the Aston Martin in second with 214. Then we have Natalie Packers in the Ferrari, 193. Then we have Zach Johnson in fourth with the Red Bull, 175 points. Then we have Sharpie in fifth with 151 points. He's in the Aston Martin. Jonesy in sixth with the Alpine, 142 points. Then we have Pi Citroen in seventh with the Mercedes, 131 points. Ozan in eighth with the McLaren, 108 points. And his teammate of Im Liemzi with 102 points. Then we have Spillage in the Alfa Romeo, 78 points. 1 point behind him, though, is Ice One in 11th with 77 points. He's currently in reserve. But Ice One, so far, out there with the 9th fastest, as we just saw Spillage cross the line, 129.794. And now Ixtuge in 12th in the Haas, 70 points to his name. Then we have Gronfeld in 13th with the Mercedes with 69 points. Nice. 14th, Dylan in the Alfa Romeo, 57 points. Then we have Kobe Ole in the AlphaTauri with 50 points. Tied with him is Secret Hot Dog, which is a reserve, 50 points for him as well. Tied for 17th, Tall Mark and PWR Jesper, both with 40 points. Tall Mark the Ferrari, Jesper the reserve. Then in 19th we have a tie again with AlphaTauri, El Patron, and in 20th Anas Hadouch, Patron the AlphaTauri, and Hadouch the Haas, both on 20 points. Then we have Ian creeping up the rear with 8 points. Owen Wilson, Jagoom, iCommons, and Kleppy all with 0 points to their name. But with that in mind, let's look at the Constructors currently leading the way after round 7 in Azerbaijan. We have the Williams team with 428 points. In second, Aston Martin with 365. Then Ferrari 282, Alpine 236, McLaren 220. AlphaTauri and Alfa Romeo, both of the Alphas, tied in 6th with 179 points. Creeping up the rear is the Red Bull in 8th with 175, Mercedes in 9th with 167, and then the Haas in 10th with 130. But with that being the Constructors and the driver standings, let's make our way back. And actually we're gonna go on board with Natalie Packers, and as she is going around sector 2 now, entering sector 3, as we just saw Zach Johnson improving his pole position to a 129.354, an amazing time for him. But let's see, Natalie Packers still yet to put in the time, only has 3 corners to go, 1, 16, 17, and then 18. This long right-hander, as she hugs the right sideline, she's going to approach the line and get a 129.697 behind VDV Ole by 25 thousandths of a second. So she gets into the starting front 3. Let's see if she can get into the front row now. Only 1 position behind that, but I'm actually looking out there to see Pi Citroen. Pi Citroen looks like he's going slow, but Gronfeld is going to take provisional pole position with a 129.218, improving by 5/10 on his previous lap time. Extraordinary for the Mercedes driver as he takes the front step for the time being. We're still waiting on Ixtuge to enter the pit lane. Looks like Tol Mark had an incident earlier, was without a front wing, but now only settled for 14th with a 132.760. So we are just waiting on that. But as it stands now, it looks Gronfeld. No, Gronfeld is has slowed down his lap. He is done for that. But the Alfa Romeo of Dylan is coming across the line as he's going to start his fast lap. We're going to go on board with him and give a quick brief description of this track. So you got turns 1 and 2, the double apex right-hander as you make your way towards the dreaded S's of turn 3, then 4. Be careful with those curbs. Go into turn 5 and then downhill right-hander of turn 6 to the uphill left-hander of turn 7. All of this left-hander, as you saw Dylan go off the track and invalidate turn 7 for him. He moves out of the way for Kobe Ole as we're now making its way towards turn 9 under the bridge, and then towards turn 10, and then the dreaded hairpin of turn 11. Very, very crucial to not mess up your rubbers here. And then you make your way down towards turn 12. This long right-hander, carry as much momentum as you can, because you now have a double apex of turns 13 and 14. Turn 13 right here, then 14 on the exit. carry that momentum, get on the grip, get on the power, take as much of that track limits as you can as you make your way down towards this straight as you enter sector 3 right about now, where Kobe Ole makes his way to turn 15, that fast left-hander, and then the S chicane of turns 16, 17, and 18, but he has spun around, mistimed the braking zone there as he spins right off the track and makes his way into the pit lane. Kobe Ole messed that up there, but still a very, very good time for him. A 129.225 moves up to the front row in second. 2.5 minutes left of qualifying, and now we're gonna go on board with Panda, who is the only one currently on a lap now, improving by a tenth as he enters sector 2. So improving by a little bit. He needs to get a little bit more improvement in sector 2 and 3, because the hard part is done of sector 1. Sector 2 and 3, just try and hug that racing line, hug the track limits, and maybe sometimes going over it, get a little bit of the curb on some of the exits. You just have to be careful with which one you take. But now he is making his way down. Is he improving as he enters sector 3? We'll soon find out in a few seconds. And he is improving by 6/10, so he'll be in the 129s if he keeps up this momentum. Only 3 corners left. Turn 16, turn 17, goes over the curbs. Turn 18 now, this right-hander, as he reaches the timing line, and he's going to set a time of a 129.664, goes up to 4th fastest, currently in the second row. We did actually miss Zach Johnson improving his time to 129.354 as he is in 3rd place for the time being. Let's see if all of these drivers are going to answer back, and actually we're going to look at the tires that these drivers has done. So looks like everyone has done their times on a set of softs except for Dylan on the set of mediums, but he's currently out there on the set of red compound softs. And as you can see, this track just takes a lot out of the driver. Very difficult with the quick elevation changes. You got to make sure that you have the right suspension for that. And you can see Dylan just going right into the gravel, struggling to join back onto the track as he has spun out. It looks like we have another spin up ahead with Sharpie as he's going to start a new one now as the clock reaches 37 seconds left. He's going to start a new one. Let's see if he can get into the top 5. Well, first he needs to get into the 129s to actually have that possibility. But Jonesy has actually started his time right behind as well. And let's see how quick these drivers take this. But Ole, yesterday's winner, currently gets pole sitter by a 128. So the 129 second barrier has been broken. And Ole a 128.930, an extraordinary time for the man. We're not going to go back down with Jonesy as he's making his way now towards sector 2, currently slower by 2/10 as he enters turn 9 and 10. And then you have the quick left-hander of turn 11. Citrone has crashed out, so he cannot improve his time. Jonesy has a little bit of a slippery exit there on the hairpin into turn 11. Now the long dreaded turn 12. Let's see how he's going to take this now as they make their way. Looks like with that slippery exit there has really messed up his momentum, and you can see it going half throttle. His time is up. As we just saw Natalie improve her position up to 5th with a 129.656, is ahead by Panda by 8 thousandths of a second, really putting in that time where it counted. Extraordinary there from Natalie. But let's see the front 3. Is there going to be any changes? Looks like Kobe Ole. Please tell me if it's actually Ole or Oli. I don't know which one it is. But and Sharpie has crashed out on turn 10 right before the hairpin. We're actually going to go down with is it Spillage? No, it's Dylan. We're going to go on board with Dylan to see the damage there. Probably just mistimed the braking zone as he went into the wall there. Probably was looking on. Oh, and what is Ixtooge doing? Completely crossing the final chicane of turn 16, 17, and 18. But that's going to be it for him. Now, Gronfeld, final corner. He's going to put on the throttle. Is he going to improve his time? He improves it by a 1/10.5, just under a 1/10.5, to a 129.070. So not breaking the 129 second barrier. However, a very, very good time for the man. But that is it for qualifying, ladies and gentlemen, VDV Ole Ole or Ole Ole. Please tell me in the chat if which one it is. But other than that, that is going to round up qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys are ready to start off this Grand Prix because we're about to get underway. Let me just get this real quick. But with that rounding up qualifying, we're going to make our way towards the starting grid. But with that in mind, VDV, with an extraordinary time of a 128.930 for the McLaren, gets the front row seat for the start at the Japanese Grand Prix. Then we have Gronfeld in second, making up the front row. Then we have Kobe, Zach Johnson, Natalie Packers, Panda, Spillage, Pi, Jonesy, Sharpie, Ice One, Dylan, Ozan, Tallmark, Scales Dan, and then we have Ig Stooge rounding up the back with a 5-place grid penalty, which it would come into play, but it doesn't really matter. They're starting at the back of the grid regardless of the result. But with that being said, we are about to get underway for the race start. So let's get this started. And it's still a bright, sunny day here for the Japanese Grand Prix. DHL, main sponsor for Formula One, and surprisingly, it is in Bermuda as well. And I remember there was a commentators competition, for DHL, but couldn't unfortunately get it done. Like I got it submitted, but I didn't get anything out of it, which was unfortunate. But doesn't matter about my accomplishments. It matters down to the drivers out there on the track to see who is going to be one to come out on top here for the Japanese Grand Prix. We're about to get underway for 5 red lights for Smoking Pirelli's Racing Club. If you guys are enjoying this so far, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, because this is where everything will be. And I might actually move from Twitch down here, as we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and we are underway for the Japanese Grand Prix. Go, go, go! An amazing start for VDV as he makes his way down. Godfeld now has Kobe. Oh, actually, he's going to go on the inside. Hits the curb. Little bit of a slide as he re-enters the track. Has contact with the Red Bull of Zach Johnson, and he is now out of it. Then we see Pi Citrone having a little bit of a battle with Natalie and Zach. Natalie pushing her way instantly to 3rd place. Let's see the tires on these drivers, as we have Ice One and Ig Stooge, the only ones on the set of mediums, everyone else on the set of softs. So everyone trying to get the aggressive start to gain as many positions as quick as possible, as Zach Johnson now makes his way and trying to defend against Jonesy. Jonesy having an extraordinary start to this race, has already gained around 4 positions, as it could be 5, as he makes his way on the inside of turn 11, the dreaded hairpin, a deep dive for the Alpine driver, and he makes it. He gets it done, pushes his way up to 4th place. Can Zach Johnson try and answer back? Probably not right now. He'll have to wait. 27 laps make up the Japanese Grand Prix here tonight, and we could look at Zach Johnson losing another position, and we are, with Pi Citrone pushing his way using the Mercedes engine to perfection as he moves up to the top 5. Spillage getting past Zach Johnson as well, so well, it was short-lived. That overtake was short-lived there, but other than that, extraordinary race. A deep dive there from Sharpie as he tries to make his way down, but VDV and Kobe, both of the Ole Oles, have a huge start to this race. Both Skills Dan and Zach Johnson making their way into the pit lane, as Ozan has crashed out on the final corner. Is that going to bring out the safety car? It won't. It will be a virtual safety car for the time being. Hope you all okay, Justin. Yeah, I'm good, Jack. Good to see you in here. And I was actually thinking, Jack, with Twitch, when you make a stream, it deletes it after a certain amount of time, and you can never actually save it. So what I'm thinking is, what if I just stream onto YouTube, because everything will be there. I can have all folders, I can have everything sorted, and that's actually could be where I make my portfolio. So I think that could be a pretty good shout. But with that in mind, we're now back underway. Green lights around the track, and it looks like Kobe and VDV are making their way around the corner, and we are almost underway to see a change with the front row. But this looks like a huge battle with Ice One and Dylan and Panda. Why am I getting that? As they make their way down, Dylan, looks like Dylan had a spin. Looks like he was having a battle with Panda and lost out the battle there, and actually got a little bit of repercussions from that. A little bit of a spin, loses down to 13th position, and that's gonna really mess up his push. But now there we go, race control, DRS is now enabled, lap 3 out of 27. Let's see how these drivers take that DRS and who's going to be the one to capitalize it best. We're now going to go on board with Sharpie as he is making his way around turns 1 and 2. Very, very difficult to keep the traction here, as Japan doesn't take any prisoners with these with this qualifying and the race. It's very, very difficult to keep that momentum, especially in these S's. All of the G-forces that these drivers will be facing in those Formula 1 cars. Ice One is actually, with those set of mediums, looks like he has a more of a downforce setup compared to Sharpie, as he's able to stick it on the track. Let's see if he's going to be sticking it on the track enough to get the position. Both Sharpie and Panda now separating the AlphaTauri of Ice One. Let's see, is Ice One going to be the one to come out on top? It's going to be very close for him. Now we're going to go down with Gronfeld, as he had an extraordinary position to start this Grand Prix, but just couldn't get the race start off, as he had a battle into turn 1 and spun out a little bit. Looks like he didn't have to pit for any damage. Gives Ixtooge a little bit of a nudge there, and Ixtooge actually having a pretty good start. Started in last place with the 5-place grid penalty, and also holding on and moving into the points so early in this race. VDV Ole Ole getting the fastest lap so far at 1:31.962. But let's see this now. You can actually see Gronfeld trying to get past Ixtooge as quick as possible, because with that dirty air, with Ixtooge being on those set of mediums, is going to make those set of softs work even harder. And you see the red, oh, Ixtooge and Gronfeld had a collision into turn 1 and 2 as he re-enters the track. No damage from what it looks like, but most likely a damage of talent for Ixtooge as he re-enters the track in 13th. We're now seeing the battle off the back. Skills Dan and Zach Johnson as they make their way around turns 1 and 2. Couldn't get the position, Skills Dan, but he's still going to be eyeing down Zach Johnson with that early pit stop as well. Could be looking at getting a little bit of an undercut to the drivers up ahead. But now we're going to go up to this battle for 8th with Ice One and Panda. Panda really closing in on Ice One on those set of mediums. Let's see if he's going to be doing it. You can export Twitch videos to YouTube. That's what I do. Oh, that's what you do. Okay, I might have to do that then. I might have to do that. But with Panda making his way down towards turn 13 and 14, sorry, he's still going to be eyeing down, trying to get into the slipstream, which he is. You can see the time going down 3/10 now towards well, it was 4/10, now down to 3/10, close to 2/10. Is he gonna make the move here? No, but he will be having DRS. He just needs a good exit line, which he has done. A little bit of a slide on the exit there for Ice One. Messed up Panda's line there, probably caught him off guard. But with the DRS, with the ERS, and trying to get the slipstream, is it gonna be enough? No, it will not. Panda will have to yield and stay in that 9th place. But you can see the gap closing in. But Dylan was able to get it on Tallmark into turn 1 and 2. And Tallmark now falls down to 12th place. But now Panda still within those 2 seconds, 2 tenths. Skills Dan was finally able to get past Zach Johnson, battle off the back. As Skills Dan makes his way up to 14th now, trying to push for that Drivers' Championship. But today could be a bad day for him, as he is now down to 14th early on in this race. We're currently on board with Ice 109 rear view angle to see how Panda is going to try and get past. Panda trying to work out those set of softs on the Aston Martin, trying to get past the AlphaTauri of Ice 1. And it looks like we have a spin again with Ig Stooge on the exit of turn 7. Just entering sector 2 as well, and really messed up his line there. Now falls down to the back of the grid. Unfortunate for him. It looks like Ice 1 now has to hold off Panda, but another Aston Martin that's in the battle is going to be right ahead of him, of Sharpie, as you can see, right on the tail end of Spillage as they are about to enter the chicane. And Sharpie was able to yield and not try and make any sort of dodgy moves as they now make their way towards the final corner, turn 18. And he's trying to eye down that Aston Martin up ahead as they make their way towards turn 1, but the gap is just too far for him. But let's see with Panda around the outside into turn 1 and 2 with those set of softs. He's able to get the position. Panda now up to 8th place, and we'll be seeing his teammate of Sharpie up ahead. He wants to get within the DRS zone of his teammate to start pulling away from Ice 1. But Ice 1 with that time penalty, I believe it's 3 seconds for him. Yep, 3-second time penalty early on for Ice 1. He's really going to work hard to make up some positions here. But it looks like we have another battle up the front for the podium position of Jonesy and Natalie as they make their way now towards the hairpin. And I gotta say, I'm pretty proud of a lot of these drivers. When I was in smoking Pirellis about a few months ago, I can already see the amount of progress and improvement that these drivers have with their pace, with their consistency, with their racecraft. It's extraordinary to see that. Love to see that, and that's the thing. If you play the game, put it on the concrete, get as much practice as you can, you'll see the improvement over time, and we just love to see that with Smoking Pirelli. But Natalie now still trying to hold off Jonesy, has the better pace in the Ferrari. But let's see if Jonesy can try and make up that position on the ERS and the DRS. It's not going to be enough though, as Spillage is going to be the first one to enter the pit lane. And he's currently on a set of softs. Is he going to go for a set of hards to end off this race? 20 laps left to go. And no, he's going to go on the set of mediums. I don't know if the mediums can actually last that long, but for the time being, it's not. But we have a spin up ahead, and it's going to be Kobe. Kobe has lost out on P1 and 2 as he now battles out with Jonesy into turn 7. This long left-hander on the inside and turns the wheel too far, goes into the wall, and trying to enter the track, and he has left the session. Kobe has completely rage quit, and his AI car is now on the track. Luckily AI'd, so shouldn't interfere with any of the other drivers. Stooge has another spin near the back of turn 3 and 4, and just not getting the practice at all at this track from what it looks like. Unfortunate for him. But we can see this now. We're actually going to look at the lap data compared from VDV Ole Ole to Natalie Packers, as VDV is coming around the final chicanes of turns 16, 17, and 18, that S chicane, down towards the timing line, and he is currently setting around a 132.7, and Natalie is currently setting around a 133.4. So currently 7/10 off at the pace of VDV, but we're just gonna have to wait and see if that gap will improve. But it looks like we have another battle near the back with Kobe. Actually, it's not a battle. Kobe just entering the pit lane. But we have a three-way battle for that 6th place position of Ice 1. Ig Stooge has crashed out. Is that gonna be a safety car? Has crashed out around turn 12. Doesn't look like it. It looks like the marshals are going to be able to get that car moved out of the way just before VDV comes around turn 11. Let's see, because it's still a yellow flag on the field, and there you go. VDV comes around turn 11, that tight hairpin, very iconic here at the Suzuka circuit, and Ig Stooge will be taking an early shower back at headquarters. Ice 1 still trying to hold off Groenfeld and Panda. We're gonna go on board with Panda to see, as he has a front row seat practically in this battle for that 6th place position as they make their way down. A few crash outs, Ozone having an incident, Ig Stooge having an incident, no safety cars, just a virtual from Ozone. And we are still underway with some beautiful, beautiful racing here at the Suzuka circuit. Of course, I am your commentator, Just Gaming, or Justin, whoever you guys prefer, and we are here at Smoking Pirelli's Racing Club. And they make their way towards the chicane. Panda not having the line that he would have wanted, and will still have to stop right behind Groenfeld as the gap improves now to around 6/10. Sorry guys, been a long day. But we're now gonna go on board with Groenfeld just ahead of him, as Groenfeld with that DRS is able to get the gap down to around 2/10 as he was entering sector turns 1 and 2, but now it's been back to around 4/10 as he couldn't stay that close to Ice One, because with that dirty air could really mess up his racing line. But as you can see, Ice One with those set of mediums is able to hold off the pace, and that could be giving Groenfeld an opportunity to say, hey, maybe it's time to potentially go on a set of mediums, or maybe another set of softs if he wants to set end on a set of mediums. To just make sure he gets the undercut as soon as possible. But for the time being, he's gonna stay on those set of softs as he makes his way around turn 12, where we recently saw Ig Stooge crash out. Now turns 13 and 14 goes on the runoff area on the right side. That bumpy green area doesn't really have a lot of grip there, and a lot of dirt and dust, and could be losing a lot of pace there, almost slipping out potentially if you take too much of it. But as you make the way now, the fast left-hander of turn 15 now towards turn 16, Groenfeld will be having DRS. He's trying to get the racing line. He actually has a really good line there. Ice One getting a little bit of a left and right exit there, and Groenfeld is going to try and make the move onto the inside into turn 1. Wasn't able to do it at the beginning of the race, was able to do it now as he pushes his way back up to 5th place. An extraordinary resurgence for Groenfeld in the Mercedes, as his teammate of Pi Citroen exits out of the pit lane right behind Skills Dan for 9th place for the time being. But a huge start for VDV as he has the race lead with 9 odd seconds ahead. Extraordinary for VDV as he makes his way forward. Now we are looking at this battle for 4th, as we've been looking at it for the longest time. But now it looks like Ice One and Panda has entered the frame, and we could be looking at a 4-way battle for that 4th place. You can see Sharpie, Groenfeld, and with Ice One and Panda just on the rears, not too far off. And we just had a spin, I believe, in Sector 1, and it was Dylan spinning around in turn 6 as he lets Kobe through. Ice One was able to get past Panda. Oh, actually no, they both had a collision right behind. Panda was the one that got worse out of it, and Natalie and Jonesy both make their way into the pit lane. Let's see how strong that undercut is. Sharpie goes into the pit lane as well, as Groenfeld stays out with those old set of softs. And let's see who is the ones that actually have done a pit stop. At the end of this, it will be Natalie, Jonesy, Sharpie, and then from 8th all the way down to 14th. The only 4 drivers still yet to make a pit stop: VDV, Panda, Groenfeld, and Ice One, as they're making those set of tires last as long as possible. Natalie makes her way out of the pit lane with a new set of mediums, and you can see the times there. So VDV and Groenfeld, and Panda, all 3 of them. Oh, and Ice One had a spin on those old set of mediums, and Natalie will be getting the overtake, the easiest overtake of her life, as she makes her way into the podium positions, as she is now trying to push for an undercut on VDV. Could be looking at getting that position. once he enters the pit lane. However, she has to get a huge lap here if VDV is going into the pit lane now, which they are. Groenfeld is gonna is still out on the track. I'm not sure if he's gonna go into the pit lane. Had a spin earlier on in the race, having contact with Zach Johnson, and was able to push his way back up to second place for the time being. But now with Ice One, I'm coming back onto the track in 11th place there. Really messed up his line, as Natalie is now coming around the chicane. Will be ahead of Groenfeld, won't be ahead of VDV as he enters turn 1 out of the pit exit. Panda also making his pit stop, and that is what Natalie wanted, to get the overtake on Panda, to hold off Jonesy, Skills Dan, and all of those drivers behind, and is able to have a huge gap now between her and Jonesy, up to 2.2 seconds on those new set of mediums, as Dylan has crashed out on the hairpin, and that is going to be a late safety car call. Well, not a late safety car call, it's mid-race safety car call, but I'm trying to see, and yeah, it looks like he went straight on into the wall, missing the braking zone completely, as he just went like beaming into that corner. Unfortunate for him, but we'll still have plenty of time in this race. Plenty of time in this race to try and learn from his mistakes, get his anger out of the way. And it looks like with that as well, his crew now has to repair that Alfa Romeo for next week. But so far, let's actually look at the fastest lap. Who has it currently? And it's going to be VDV, currently with the fastest lap at 131.962, the only driver that has broken through the 132.0 second barrier. And let's see, is he going to change his strategy? No, he's going to stay out with those new set of mediums, as Dylan has now left the track after that collision. Very unfortunate for the man, but let's see if he's going to improve next week. But for the time being, with this safety car restart, this actually helped Natalie, because that 10-second gap is now going to come down to practically less than a second. So really, that safety car has helped Natalie catch back up, and we actually saw this yesterday at Abu Dhabi. If you guys, I watched Natalie's stream. I don't know if you guys watched anyone else's stream, but this is what we saw. There was a late safety car call at Abu Dhabi. VDV and Natalie finished in 1-2 at the end of this race. So now is Natalie going to try and change the books here, change the history books, and try to make it where VDV won't be getting a back-to-back race win, and could be taking that race lead early on the safety car restart. Just waiting for the drivers to make their way up. And also Kobe. Oh, sorry guys. I don't know why I'm so sleepy. I think it's because I just ate food. Like every time I eat food, I just get very sleepy. I don't know what it is. But with that in mind, Kobe, with that 33-second gap off a toll mark, and Ice One being 10 seconds off as well, so that hasn't just helped Natalie, but it's helped Ice One and Kobe, both of the AlphaTauris near the back, who haven't really had a super lucky start to this race, giving them another opportunity here to try and make up some positions. But oh yeah, Kobe, actually never mind, Kobe is AI'd, he left the session. So Kobe's AI is practically out, and we're going to be looking at another lap of safety car as the safety car makes their way around. However, with this in mind, let's see who is going to be the one to come out on top. It's going to be anyone's game at this point here. VDV will be leading the safety car restart with Natalie in second, Jonesy in third, Pi in fourth, Spillage in fifth. Then we have Groenfeld in 6th. Sharpie, Skills, then Panda and Zach make up the top 10, with Ice One and Tone Mark in 11th and 12th. Kobe's AI still going around the track, still taking its sweet time like it's a Sunday drive. And we'll be we'll be taking a long time to reach up with the pack. Taking a long time to reach up with the pack. Ooh. But let's get this now, ladies and gentlemen. Safety car now entering sector 2 up to turn 11. And this is the one thing about this track though. I'm gonna give a little bit of a shout out. In a different league that I did, that I do on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays for commentary. So I'll be actually doing that commentary right after this. So with that in mind, we actually had a race in tier 1 where I was reserving, and we were actually at the Suzuka circuit. And let's say I am not too keen on this track, to say it lightly. Spun around 3 times, got saved by 3 different safety cars, and finished in the points, which I was seriously surprised of. But now with Kobe's AI able to catch back up with the pack, race control has just come through to say that the safety car will be in this lap. Start of lap 15, 13 laps left around the Suzuka circuit. It's practically a 25% race at the start of this, a rolling start we could possibly say here for VDV, as he makes his way now. A little bit of a slippery exit there. And now Natalie has also had it as well, so she is really going to hold off the pack here and give VDV a 1.3 second lead at the restart as we make our way now towards turn 1 and 2. And Natalie has messed up that safety car restart there and given VDV a little bit of a leeway. We're now looking at near the middle as we have as all of those drivers nice and packed up. We're gonna go on board with with Zach Johnson at the back of the pack in 10th place. And you can see all those drivers just following the racing line as they make their way around. Who's gonna be the one to get that position as quick as possible? Zach Johnson trying to get it a little. Oh, you can see the sparks coming off of Panda's car there from those braking, really jamming on those set of brake discs as they make their way now towards turn 11. The dreaded hairpin. Oh, Zach Johnson collects a little bit of the dirt, messes up his exit there, and we'll be trying to eye down the driver of Panda up ahead. The closest battle in that pack, though, I gotta say, is gonna be Skills Dan and Sharpie as they make their way now towards turn 13 and 14 on the exit on the power. Skills Dan getting a little bit of a faster exit there, trying to use the ERS to make up some sort of gap, get within those 2 tenths, and they make their way now towards turn 15. Who is going to be the one to come out on top? Taking a nap, LOL, says Kevin. No worries, my man. Just hopefully you enjoy that nap, and hear from you soon. But Skills Dan now trying to get past, still difficult for the man. No DRS is being enabled. We'll have to wait until the beginning of lap 18 for race control to come in to say the DRS is going to be enabled. But as it stands now, it's just a pure time attack race to see who's going to be the one to get the best lap, the best racing line through these corners, even with the drivers near the back with that 30 air. Really going to have to struggle a little bit more compared to the drivers up front. And we see Gronfeld currently just gave himself a 3-second time penalty. We'll have to serve that at the end of this race. Ice One gives himself another time penalty of 3 seconds as he now falls down behind Tone Mark. Ice One gets a 5-second time penalty after having a severe collision with Tone Mark there, and he's letting his teammate of Kobe through, who is still AI'd, I do believe. Yes, he is still AI'd. As you can see, Ice One just struggling to come around these corners as he has not major, but from what it looks like, only lost the left end plate, and the thing is, just the slightest damage that you get can take a huge toll out of your grip. But now we're going to look at a position change for 7th place with Skills Dan and Sharpie as they make their way down towards turn 15. Skills Dan was able to get past the Aston Martin. Is Panda gonna, not Panda, Sharpie gonna try and answer back? But Panda, I should say, was having that battle with Zach Johnson, almost going side to side into turn 16. But Zach Johnson will have to yield. And oh, actually, sorry, it's 2 laps after. So lap 17. Lap 17 is going to be where the DRS will now be enabled. We're not going to go up with this battle for second, but Natalie Packers and Jonesy, as they now make their way down the dreaded S's of Suzuka Circuit. A spin has happened near the back, and it's going to be Spillage. Spillage is falling down the pecking order with that spin. Zach Johnson also had a spin of his own. And Tom Mark is able to get the double overtake, the easiest double overtake of his life, as he was able to make his way now up to 9th place and into the points. Josie's trying to ease down on the diffuser of the Ferrari, but Natalie, with taking that wider line on the exit of the hairpin, is able to get on the power a little bit earlier and get a little bit of a faster exit. But Jonesy is able to make up that gap down to 3/10 as they make their way now towards turn 13 and 14 on this long straight, which I thought would actually be a slight DRS straight, but doesn't really look like it's needed as we go over the bridge into turn 15, and then now the chicane, the S chicane of turns 16, 17, and 18. Jonesy getting very close to the rear left tire of Natalie, but she was able to get the better racing line and pull away now. But with the DRS, is Jonesy going to be able to get up that position? 5/10 behind with the slipstream, with the DRS. It's not going to be able to get it this early. Oh, and Natalie takes a super wide line there into turn 1 and 2, but was able to stick it on the track and keep that Ferrari in that 2nd place. We're now going to go down with 5th and 6th with Groenfeld and Skills Dan. As Skills Dan technically does have the position, with Groenfeld having that time penalty, but with 10 laps left to go, he truly wants to earn it and prove it that he can get that position without any sort of handouts from the FIA. But let's see if he's going to be able to get it done as we make our way now towards turn 10 and 11. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get it. Currently around almost a second practically behind the Mercedes. Behind the Mercedes duo. And looks like Groenfeld, with having Pi just ahead, is going to be using Pi with the DRS to pull away from Skills Dan. Natalie and Jonesy having a battle, and Natalie is the one to spin off the track into turn 13 and 14. Just got a little bit of oversteer, probably hit the curb a little bit too much. We just missed it here. And Natalie now falls down to 8th place. The curse of the Ferraris continue here in Smoking Pirellis. We're not going to go up above with Pi, Citroen, and Groenfeld, as Groenfeld is trying to get past. He knows he's the faster driver. Is Pi going to yield and give that position? Yes, he will. He's not going to try and battle out with his teammate whatsoever, and will now have to defend against Skills Dan. Good friends those two drivers are, but when you're out on the track, that friendship gets thrown out of the window, because you're not friends on the track, you are competitors at the end of the day. As we now have that 3 battle for 3rd brew up even further, with Groenfeld now leading that battle with Pi in 4th and Skills Dan in 5th. Now we're seeing Tolmark into the pit lane, and we'll be going on a new set of tires, going on a set of softs with the new front wing. It's going to be in there for a little bit longer than he was intended to be. Skills Dan, sorry, not Skills Dan, Zach Johnson and Spillage having a little bit of a switch, and it looks like Spillage really got caught off guard from Zach Johnson into turn 7 and 8 now. And you can see the gap now from Zach Johnson and Spillage now up to almost 4 seconds off of each other. But we're now going to look at a Oh, Groenfeld has actually now caught up with Jonesy just ahead of him. So now he's going to make this a four-way battle for that second place position. Jonesy has lost a lot of pace here compared to the Mercedes team as they now make their way down towards turn one. The rear flaps open on both of the Mercedes, on the Williams of Skills Dan. Is Skills Dan going to try to make the move? He almost was, but couldn't get his nose side to the side pod of Prix and will have to settle for 5th place for the time being. 8 laps left to go around Suzuka as we now make our way towards the dreaded S's. Battle for second, four-way battle for second is going to continue on. Who's going to be the one to come out on top? Groenfeld trying to get past Jonesy as quick as possible. Still struggling to get past, but you can see that he is making up that time. Coming around turn 11. Don't go into the low gears and go full throttle. You're going to spin that baby as quick as you can say, I don't know. Say Betty. Why not? Well, you can definitely go quicker than me stuttering there, I can tell you that much. But with that in mind, Groenfeld is now right on the diffuser of the Alpine of Jonesy and was able to get the overtake easily. But Jonesy will now be having DRS going down turn 1. Let's see if giving that position early has actually paid off for him as they now make their way towards the S chicane. Turns 16, 17, and 18. This long downhill right-hander of 18 will be having the DRS, and the gap now improved to 5/10. And we're now looking at it with Skills Dan and Prix both with the DRS, both out of ERS. None of them with slipstream. It's going to be a drag race into turn 1, and Prix has now spun off a little bit, was able to save the Mercedes and still stay within 1 second. A good recovery there from Prix around turns 1 and 2. And that's what I was saying earlier. You really got to be careful with the track limits here, with those curves. You can really lose it easily. And you can see with Prix did lose it there, but was able to reach back onto the track and rejoin in 5th place. A good save there for Prix, and try to get as many points for the Mercedes team as he can. But now the McLaren of VDV, an extraordinary race that he's having so far. A pure dominant performance here tonight in Smoking Pirelli's. Amazing for that man. I'm gonna get a quick swig because I've been talking continuously for a long time. But with that in mind now, once VDV crosses the line, it'll be 6 laps left around Suzuka. And we are going to be looking at around 30, actually pretty much 35 kilometers left around this circuit. Ice One has retired into the pit lane, will settle for 13th as he couldn't finish the rest of the race. Prix goes into the pit lane now. Is he going to go with a set of softs? Yes, he is. No front wing damage for the Mercedes driver. And it's going to be exiting out of the pit lane right behind Natalie. We're now going to be looking at this battle for a second that has been brewing for the longest time. Skills Dan, Jonesy and Groenfeld still battling it out for that second place. Ice One has just made his way towards his headquarters to think about next week. And it looks like Prix actually got held up by Ice One's Formula 1 car in the pit lane there. So having a little bit longer of a pit lane than intended. Now exiting out right behind Zach. Well, not right behind, but a little bit just ahead of Spillage, let's say. Just ahead of Spillage, we'll say that. But now we're on board with Skills Dan. Is going to be blue and white versus blue and white. The Alpine versus the Williams for the podium position. The gap now around 3/10 separate those two drivers. And we're going to look at the telemetry to see. So Skills Dan has actually stored up around more than 10%, where Jonesy is now completely out of ERS. And this could aid Skills Dan to try and get the overtake now into turn 1. Is he going to be able to get it? Jonesy using all of his ERS and the DRS. Is Skills Dan going to be able to get it now? Has the slipstream No, he's going to stay right behind and not use any of his ERS. He's going to store up a little bit and use it when it counts at the end of the race. And you can see the amount of G-forces that these drivers have to face, the amount of strain that those arms go through during every single race. And you got to say the neck muscles as well. Trying to have the head movement as well to follow with the car. Really going to struggle with that, but is still able to hold on no matter what is pushing him away. Even if it's his own car, he's still gonna push and try and get up to that third place position as they make their way down now towards the hairpin. No more red flashing lights for Jonesy as they make their way now around the exit of the hairpin. And look, there you go, the red lights are back. He's using all of his ERS to try and make up some sort of position to Groeneveld. But Groeneveld in that Mercedes just has an extraordinary pace, and Jonesy just cannot match it. As you can see, the gap now up to 7.5 tenths. Pi Citroen has crashed out. We're going to look on board with spillage. And you can see right off the track there, the runoff area of turn 7. Really lost it there, and Pi Citroen is now out of this race. Will settle for 12th. Once Kobe and Tall Marks get the overtake on them, yellow flags, but no safety car at this point in time. We're still gonna look at this battle for second place. As you can see, actually Jonesy has caught up a little bit with Groeneveld, and we're now looking around 4 laps left to go around Suzuka. And let's see who is going to be the one to come out on top. It's going to be very close ending for these drivers as we now make their way across Sector 1, entering Sector 2 now. VDV still with an extraordinary lead up ahead. Looks like Natalie is starting to catch up a little bit with Panda just ahead of her. But if she's able to get past, she'll have 2 Aston Martins to get past to get into the top 5. Let's see this now. Pi has just left the track. Will be going to his headquarters to think about what happened to the car. Probably need to change his setup for the next race. We'll soon find out. But with that in mind, who is going to be the one to get this up and running? It's going to be very, very close for the race end. And I just gotta remind you guys that after this track, after Japan, for round, let's see, because which track did we finish last week? Last week it was, just give me a sec guys. Last week it was Azerbaijan for round 7. So today we are at round 8. So for round 8, okay, I'm kind of confused about how this is set up. Yeah, it's fine. I'm not too sure where we will be next week. If someone can say in the chat if you guys are still watching, if you guys know where we will be next week. I'm not too sure from what the calendar shows. A little bit confused by that, but I'm just gonna wait for a response to see if they know in the chat. But with this in mind, I know that we will have 2 more tracks left in the calendar and left for the season. Who is gonna be the one to come out on top? We will soon find. Oh, actually no, I was looking at the wrong track. I was looking at Monaco thinking that it was Japan. I'm an idiot. So next week we will be at Abu Dhabi for round 9 out of 10 for season 3 of Smoking Pirellis. Let's see if these drivers with Abu Dhabi is a very, very clinical track. Of course, it's not going to be the same layout as it was at the end of the season, where it was just the tight hairpin around turn 5, and instead of at the end of the second DRS straight with the chicane is actually just a long looping left-hander, which I wish they added to this game, but doesn't look like it. And we still have the 2 chicanes for turn 5 and 6 and 7, and then the of course the chicane at the end of the DRS straight. But with that being in mind for next week, it looks like Natalie has now caught up with Panda, is now in the DRS distance of less than a second. You can still see Skillsdan trying to get past Jonesy as quick as he potentially can, but will really need to punch it in and try to save up on that ERS, try and catch out Jonesy on the mistake, or try and get the switchback, because the thing is, Jonesy is going to be battling out with Gronfeld throughout the entirety of this race ending, and if Skillsdan is able to battle out with Jonesy to spread the gap between them, that will be his chance to get into the podium and ruin Jonesy's opportunity to get into second. So he just needs to get aggressive, because now with VDV crossing the line, we have the white flag being waved. It is the final lap around Suzuka. Who's going to be the one to come out on top? The closest battle right now is for second place, where Gronfeld, Jonesy, and Skillsdan, as they now make their way towards turns 1 and 2, the double apex. Let's see who is going to be the one to get on that podium. 2 of the 3 drivers here will be making their way in. VDV just having the dominant race that he had since the beginning of qualifying as well. Natalie, unfortunate, had a battle with Jonesy from what it looked like and lost it out into turn 13 and 14. At least from that's if my memory is correct. However, she now is down to 7th place. A good resurgence from her, but this is going to be it. VDV is now able to catch up with Tolmark. Tolmark needs to give the space, respect the blue flags on the track. But I'm now looking at this. Is Skillsdan going to try and get the desperate move into the chicane on Jonesy to get into the podium, where I'm not too sure. Jonesy is now almost out of ERS. Same goes with Skillsdan. Only a few seconds, only a few tenths or hundreds, I should say, separate the 2 drivers. Jonesy pushes Skillsdan into the grass, messes up his braking zone as he is forced to cut the track, and Jonesy's able to hold on, but VDV comes across the line to take the checkered flag here. Gronfeld will be losing out to a podium with his time penalty, falls down to 4th place. Jonesy and Skillsdan make up the rest of the podium. Sharpie and Panda and Aston Martin 5-6 for the pair. Natalie couldn't get past, probably needed 1 more lap and she would have gotten that position, but will have to settle for 7th place. Zach Johnson serves his time penalty, finishes in 8th. If I remember correctly, our previous season runner-up compared to Captain Jack, or now known as Drunk Pirate. Then we have Spillage making his way now towards the hairpin as he makes his way around, and will take 9th place for the time being. And then Tolmark, unfortunate, just not having the race that he would have wanted here at Suzuka, will settle for only 1 point. Well, I believe 1 point. I forget how the point system works with these guys. It's been a while. But Tolmark in the top 10 now. Kobe's AI finishes in 11th as they cross the line. But Tolmark now coming around the final corner. But we're gonna look at our race champion right here, VDV, ole ole, as I do believe he will be singing at the end of this race. Back-to-back wins for the McLaren driver. Won it at Abu Dhabi yesterday and won it back again here today in Smoking Pirelli's Racing Club. Extraordinary. Jonesy and Skillsdan in 2nd and 3rd had a close battle at the end. Skillsdan almost taking 2nd place off of Jonesy after him trying to make a dive around the outside of turn 16. Couldn't get it down, had to cut the track and make his way for 3rd place. Gronfeld in 4th due to that time penalty, as I did say before. But it's a McLaren, Alpine, and Williams 1, 2, 3. Not something that you would potentially see in real life from the previous season. We might see it with the new car regulations after preseason testing. But that is going to be it. VDV getting maximum points here tonight. gets the race win, gets the fastest lap, started in first, ended in first. Extraordinary for him. Scales Dan started in 15th, found himself in the podium positions to end off the race. Jonesy in second as well. Good result for our podium drivers. And that is going to be it. I hope you guys have enjoyed smoking Pirellis, and we will see you next time. Stay safe, lots of love, have fun.